My Wi-Fi connection's fine now. I just do it just out of spite more than anything else, just to see you struggle.
I'm glad we've got this
To test your
on camera
mindset
now
from the off.
because we've been live the last 10 seconds. Or Stu admitted that you're doing this.
I don't mind.
James is saying he's got a problem with Wi-Fi just to make you do it.
Yeah, but his Wi-Fi is suddenly working now. Yeah. So welcome.
It's 10G here.
So welcome. It's
I can hear what you said before you open your mouth.
Mary Talbot. This is a messy start, people. Mary Talbot, welcome to the Hub. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on, Mary.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, Mary, tell us about, like, before we get into, our work together and you discovering the Hub and stuff. Tell us. How did you start being this pool goddess?
Well, I used to play snooker. I played snooker many years ago when I was a kid, and I played from about the age of 13 till I was 21, and I got up to number 7 in the ladies' world rankings. And the circuit, there wasn't many tournaments. Alison Fisher had gone to America, Kelly Fisher had gone to America, Karen Core, and then with just life, I stopped playing. And I didn't play for 19 years. And then COVID happened and kind of gave me a lot of thinking time. And I started playing again. And I loved it. I just got the bug back for it. I started practicing, and it wasn't too long before I got a century break in a league match. And that was it. I couldn't stop. And so I was doing that for 2.5 years, and I got up to number 6, I think, in the ladies' world rankings. And I had a couple of friends saying to me, "You should try pool." I was like, "No, I've never played pool," and I haven't. I've never played pool. I was like, "No, I'm going to do my snooker," and they were like, "Just give it a go." So anyway, Ultimate Pool offered me a pro spot on the ladies. So I thought I'll do it for a year and see how it goes. But if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to continue, because I only want to do it, obviously, if I enjoy it. And the first time I played, well, I mean, I was useless. That little cue ball, I could not control. I mean, I could pot the balls, but I was absolutely clueless. So what I was doing was I was still playing snooker, still entering the ladies' snooker competitions. And then I think I had about 6 weeks before the first Ultimate Pool event. So I put in some practice, still wasn't very good. I started watching YouTube videos, trying to learn the patterns, watching coaching videos. And then after a few, I was loving it. I loved it. I was like, there's so much more to this game that I thought. And then I think it was about August last year, because I'm very much like for self-improvement. And I found out about the Hub. So I thought, well, I'll have some of that. I'm signing up to that now. So I signed up to it. And I still play snooker. I watched all the videos countless of times. And I remember the first tournament I had. And I'd watched all your videos about the nutrition and the hydration. And instead of having my Coke at the match, I had my bottle of runny honey and my water, my bananas. Yes. And because they're long days. You're up early and you start. The first match is 10 in the morning, and you're still playing sometimes at 11 o'clock at night. And you can really flag. But I noticed it made a difference. So that was that. And then after that tournament, I just I wanted to be the best. Now, I couldn't do snooker and pool, so I had to pick one. And I was just loving the pool. And I thought, I'm going to give it everything I've got. So I've decided I'm going to stop playing snooker and focus on pool. And that was September last year. And here we are today.
Fantastic.
And I'm loving it. So
do you not play snooker at all now?
No, I haven't played since September. But the funny thing is, when I transitioned from snooker to pool, nothing on the pool table looked like a long pot. Everything looked simple. No, but now it's quite worrying because long pots look like long pots. So I was chatting to somebody and they said you should still kind of play a little bit of snooker here and there because it'll be good from then when you go to pool. So, but no competitions or anything. I just haven't got the time. I want to put all my time into pool.
No, fantastic. I always think it is a big difference, but I think if you play pool for long enough, you pick up a lot of bad cue habits. And then when you go back onto a snooker table, you struggle quite a lot because you don't get the cue through how you should be, and you may be lifting your head up quicker than what you should be.
Yeah.
But then, likewise, if you come the other way, it's like you said about the cue ball control, isn't it? You go like you hit a pool ball where you think you're hitting stun, and you're getting about 2 foot of backspin,
I
and it's
know.
like, and you're thinking, what's going what's
I
going on
know.
there?
I couldn't believe it.
And that was the thing, yeah. Whenever I've gone from playing snooker to pool, my mates always like, you just need to take about 100% off that. You're hitting it too hard, hitting the ball, and it's just flying around the table.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so different, and it's like a game of chess as well, and the patterns and balls off balls. It's taken me a long time to go from a snooker brain to a pool brain to see the
Yeah.
shots. I'm still learning now. I mean, I've still got loads to learn, but yeah, it's so different. But I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you go on, you think, especially from a snooker table, you think I can pot everything here, and then you maybe get down to the black or your last color, and it's awkward, and then you can't do anything to put it safe, and then
No.
your opponent just ties you up, and you just and
Yeah.
that's what I found. And people like, if you can't get the balls in from, you've got to look at the table like at the very start, haven't you, and think, right, what's awkward? Can I get it out? If I can't, what do I do here? Because
Yeah.
I need to put something in there safe. It becomes really quite tactical from the beginning, and
Yeah. Totally.
it looks a lot easier than what it actually is. A
Oh,
lot easier.
100%. The potting balls is the easy part.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
everything
absolutely.
else.
Yeah.
Totally everything else. And I've just really enjoyed learning the game, and I'm still learning. And I've been quite fortunate that where I play, there's a lot of good players. And from the first, when I started playing, I've just been playing so many good players and learning from them, and seeing how they go about things. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Fantastic.
It was obviously like we only met, a couple of weeks ago, and obviously like a month ago we offered you, to work with me and James kind of full time. So the whole thing's like pretty new, but obviously like what I loved because you got in touch after your big win was about your process, and this came from you, but obviously directly, obviously, partly what you'd learned off the hub and stuff as well. But it wasn't like me and James kind of coaching a better way of doing things. But I was just so impressed, and I remember touching base with James that day when you left me that voice note, because I was just like grinning ear to ear, listening to your process and your prep for that event. So please take us through the amazing things you did before that. It was great.
So I've listened to the videos of my hubs. Oh, I must have listened to them a dozen times. And on the way up to the British Open, I was driving up on my own. So because you don't have to watch them, you can listen to them as like an audio. So I played all the videos all the way up to the British Open. So listen to every single one.
Sounds like hell. How
And so
that drive listening all day and me.
Well, she got to listen to you sometimes.
But you do. They do make me smile as well. I love some of the things you say, and about being like a dog. I think it's brilliant. I think we should all be like dogs, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you say, you throw them a ball. If they don't get it, they don't care. They're like, yeah, let's go again. It's just it's so true. So yeah, on the way up there, I listened to all the videos, and then whilst I was up there, in between in the days, I listened to a couple, and then when I got to the final, all weekend I hadn't been feeling really well. I hadn't been playing well, but I just kept the one shot at a time, and kind of things that I did. Each time you listen to these videos, and this is why it's good to keep listening to them over again. You'll take a bit from one video, maybe one time, and then you'll listen to it again, or the fourth time, or the sixth time, and you'll take something else from it.
Yeah.
And then there was about a 2.5 break before the final, and I was feeling a little bit nervous, like the first final and going on stream, and I listened to the past, present, and future one, and there was a point in the final that I felt I should have gone 3-1 up, and it went 2-2, and in my head, that came into my head, and then straight away it was like, no, just focus on the now. Just focus on the now, one shot at a time. That's all. And throughout that final, that was all I did. Just focused, just kept myself in the present, and it helped me massively. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. British Open champion off the back of that, and it's the discipline and the professionalism like you showed, because in terms of like your application, it just couldn't have been better. You just made sure you did everything absolutely right, and going from there. And it's not that like, I mean, God, it's not that like, God, of course, like some of the content for players that are on it, they should be listened to, of course, but it doesn't have to be everything.
No.
There's this stuff on the YouTube clips that we share on the private page, and that are really, really powerful. And some of the stuff we were discussing through the week that you and I really like, maybe but it's it's just this process of working on yourself and making sure you are absolutely in the moment. And it's always like it's different for everybody, because like I speak to other players and there's other bits of the content that this is what really strikes home for them, but you picked out a different bit to them, and that's great. It's absolutely fine. But it's just your process is just so good, and you were disciplined, and the outcome of that, i.e., the result became the outcome, right? Cause and effect. Is you're sat here, the British Open champion. It's just absolutely amazing. Well done. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing.
Thank you. And thank you guys for what you do. It's brilliant. There's nothing out there like this.
No, no, and it's great. It's just helping people. I mean, I can honestly say, I can remember where I was when I listened to your audio message, and I was walking to a train station, and it was just absolutely hideous, horrible weather, and I was listening to your message, and I was just like grinning ear to ear. I was just absolutely like loving this. It was very kind of you anyway to thank us, but it was just like you talked me through your whole weekend, and I was just like, I just thought this is absolutely brilliant. And as soon as the recording ended, I just instantly messaged you back, and I'm like, we need to be working one-to-one here, and be a supported player, because it was just like, it's just a no-brainer. Like normally me and James kind of talk about, who to put as brand ambassadors, Shapey and Ellis and stuff, but it's like Emma, like we discussed Emma before we took her on and stuff, but, for you, it was just like, that's like a no-brainer. It was like, and then I phoned James, like, we've got a new player. It's like, really? It's like, yeah.
Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. And like I say, what you do with this, I think it's brilliant. I mean, this all Q Sports in here, it's just so important, and I think what you offer for £10 a month is such good value, and I recommend it to anybody, and I'm constantly telling people about it. There was a player the other day, I won't mention his name, but he was struggling with things, and I just said to him, you've got to try this, the hub. Honestly, it is so good, and I'm not just saying that, I really mean it, and it's helped me massively.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you. And I think our plans obviously to make it better, and we, as you know, we encourage people to give us feedback and ask of how we can constantly make it better, because there's so much more we haven't touched upon, and the basics are there. But I have one question, because obviously you've mentioned there about sort of how you've applied yourself, and a lot of that's obviously in terms of how your self development and stuff was before you used the hub, and that was just part of the journey. So
Yeah.
where did you learn that and develop that? Was it from
But
an
the self,
young age? Sort of your commitment to self development and your
yeah.
mindset in terms of how to improve and get better.
No, I don't know if it was a young. I mean, a young age. I remember. It was about 8 years ago. I read the book that, funny enough, just watching Snooker, Ronnie O'Sutherland. He was working with Dr. Steve Peters, and I read the Chimp Paradox. And
Yeah.
it's another book. I mean, I've read God knows how many times, listened to,
Good.
and I just found it fascinating, and it was so good. And then from there, Anthony Robbins, he's got a bit of Awaken the Giant Within, which I think is a brilliant book. And then, yeah, I don't know what it is. I think with life, there's always ups and downs, and you're going to be, having to deal with things. And I've just found the self-help side of things I really enjoy, and the meditation, and I try and keep myself fit. And I just find when I'm doing that, I feel really good. And if I ever have like stopped doing that or got a bit lazy with it, I notice a difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it's good just to constantly, like, if we want to keep fit, we go to the gym. We don't just go to the gym and then just stop, because the muscles, they won't stay strong. So like with your mind, it's a muscle. You've got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. To and yeah, just probably about 8 years, James, to answer your question. I've just yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
It seems as if it's been a bit before that as well. I mean, because it's. I wonder if it's. I mean, were you like that with snooker as well?
Yeah, yeah. I've always looked what can I do to better myself? What can I
Yeah.
do to improve? Beyond what maybe other people are doing. Um, yeah.
No, fantastic. Is that your mic? Is it no making that buzzing noise?
No, I've got my phone's going.
That possibly could be my washing machine about to take off.
Oh, is that it's on a
Sorry.
spin.
It's somebody else from the pool build. Our friend Kev Ellis just checks them and literally recorded. And this is what I love. Like I just did. Sorry to divert, but it's just like I just did a couple of videos, and for Q Sport Hub actually, right? Because I'm often doing the golf stuff just now. And I think I spent most of the first minute coughing after I pressed record, and I was like, look, it's absolutely fine. Like we're no after perfection here. This, and and it's something I got taught from coaching. I coaches I pay for in the past. It's like when you do some content, never watch it back. Just send it. And I do that. I just send it straight to James, and he posts it straight on the Q Hub. Don't check it, don't modify it, because you'll forever be searching, for perfection in that. And I think that process applied to the game. It's like, your cue ball's never going to be perfect during the entire break. You're looking for areas, aren't you? It's
Yeah.
not just going to be, proximate with areas where I'm after. It's good to like miss small, you aim, aim small, you miss small, but still, we're not kind of searching for perfection in this whole, getting calls, mid podcast and the washing machine's going in the background. I think it's brilliant. Great. It's absolutely fine.
Is it a light wash, a dark wash? I mean,
Darks and doing.
I'm
It's
just
so
curious.
stupid. It was so silly. Like about 20 minutes before coming on here, I thought, oh, I'll do some washing.
That'll get them off
Yeah.
And I
quickly.
pressed start, and I was like, "Damn, that was silly."
But again, it's like, how powerful is that? Like for an elite sports person, to that ability to be able to laugh at themselves. It's absolutely fine.
Got to.
I can feel my sinuses going, and I'm going to be sneezing in a bit. And that's absolutely fine. We're so not stopping recording. We're going to keep on going here. It's absolutely fine. So no, it's just part of the journey, isn't it? It's all good. But it's great. So are you like? It's something. You and I spoke to. When we went out for lunch that day. It's like this. Trying to do 2Q sports. It's just too difficult, right?
Yeah,
You are not going to see a world class tennis player, doing badminton, as well, or
absolutely.
playing
Yeah,
squash or anything, because it's just too hard to move from one to the other, especially eight ball. I mean, the other ones are much more similar to each other. Nine
yeah.
ball Chinese, because obviously the cue ball's same size, etc., etc. But going to eight balls, that's the big change and back again. But like, I'm so glad, obviously, like, you recognise this. But it's a common pool I have with players, and generally pool players. The snooker players generally do it a bit less. But yeah, trying to get to stick to one discipline. You've certainly found that to be hugely beneficial.
Definitely, and that is one of the reasons why I've never played pool, because I was playing snooker and I refused. People go, "Let's have a game of pool." I'll be like, "No," because it wouldn't be any good for my game. So I was very strict on that. Hence why I never played pool. I just stuck to snooker.
And
Um,
do you miss snooker? Would you ever go back to snooker?
yeah, I do miss it. Would I go back? You can never say never. Um, but at the moment, I'm loving the pool, and I feel like my aim is I want to be able to compete with the top guys, and there hasn't been a woman that's done that, and that's what I'd love to do.
Yeah,
And I just feel I've still got so much to learn, and yeah, for the moment, I'm sticking with Paul.
yeah. I think a lot of the top players been snooker players, haven't they? I
Yeah,
mean, if you look at the IPA, Michael Rhodes just won that. He was English amateur snooker champion.
Was it really? Really?
Yeah. He's won a made. I'm sure he's made a maximum snooker. Then you had Farnsworth, also from my neck of the woods, who was world champion. He missed the last black off the spot in the league game. In the league game that I wasn't in that game, but they were playing the team before and for 147 and a one framer, and and then he transitioned to pool. So I mean,
yeah,
these are like top quality snooker players, and they go onto a pool table. They're never going to miss. They just have to learn the pool game, and once they do that, it's sort of they become very very difficult to beat.
Yeah, and Chris Mellon, he did the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you see. I think a lot of the players that started out. It's one of the other ways, and they started off in English pool and then went into
yeah.
snooker, or started in snooker and then have sort of gone into nine ball or gone into back into English pool. So it's. I mean, I think it's getting much bigger, isn't it? I think. What about the Chinese stuff? Is that something that you would ever
Well,
consider?
there is a table at my club where I play, and a few people have said you've got to try this game. I played it a couple of times, and I do like it because it's difficult and you've got to be so precise.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel, and I've had a couple of people say about in the ultimate pool in America, it's like with nine ball balls called bar box.
Oh, I've seen that on TikTok and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're like, but at the moment, I just want to master this game. Maybe in
yeah,
between, I'll have a little go at Chinese, but I think for the moment, I just want to master this game. I feel like I'm getting there, like with the patterns and with the tactical side, but I've still got a lot to learn. And yeah, I think just stick with this for now. But for the future, Chinese, I would like to give it a go. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
game.
I've only ever had one game, which was with Craig Brown, wasn't it? When we went to meet him in Middlesbrough the other week, and I was desperate to get on the table. Just always wanted to have a go and got on, and yeah, it was everything I thought would be. Like
Yeah,
it's really good, but really difficult for that reason. I
it's
think
very
with
difficult.
yeah, with the speed of the table and how reactive the cloth and the cushions are, those 9 ball balls just don't stop moving. You think it's stopped, and then it runs another
Yeah,
inch, and you
yeah.
snookered, and it's so hard to control. And then the bags are really tight as well, aren't they?
Oh, they're really tight. It's like playing on a star table, but tighter.
Yeah, a mini star table. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I said to Craig. That's what it's like. But
yeah.
with just bigger balls, it's good though,
It
really
is. It's a
good.
very good game.
So what's the plans then for the rest of the year with competitions coming up and your plan sort of where you want to be, say, come November, December?
Well, that's the future. So I try not to think too far ahead. The first tournament is beginning of April in Wigan. So Ultimate Pool, they're having all the tournaments in arenas this year. So that's going to
Excellent.
be good. It's going to be exciting. And they're having spectators as well watching. So there's 4 weekends. So there's 8 tournaments. So obviously, I'd love to win at least one, but obviously, I would like to win a lot more. But I'm just trying to not think that far ahead. Stay in the moment. Go there. Trying the best. Playing the best. Stay in the moment and see what happens. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just got to have perspective that, like you say in the hub, you can only do what you can do, and then everything else is outside your control. You know what happens on the day, the balls, the conditions, your opponent. Um, so all I can do is make sure I'm as fit as I can be. My mindset's really good, and I'm putting in the time, and then we'll go and I'll enjoy it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's all you can do, I think, isn't it? I mean, we all get bogged down in sort of that washer is taken off.
Spin cycle
Yeah,
again. Love it.
It's yeah, I think it's snooker and pool are brutal mentally, aren't they? And I think that was how where our conversations came around really when talking to Nolan. It was like a genuine passion to help other people, and a lot of what we talk about, we keep saying this isn't rocket science.
no,
It's not, and it's a lot of the stuff that like you probably know, and but people don't apply that, and it's sort of
yeah,
then trying to give people all the answers, but then trying to motivate and teach people of how to put that into the game, into
yeah,
practice it. And it was great what you said earlier on because that's something that we beat the drum about constantly is like embedding that within your practice. The mindset stuff can't be a separate entity of where you think,
no,
oh, I'm feeling a bit down, I'm feeling a bit rubbish, I'm struggling, I feel like I've got the yips today, so I'll go on and watch a couple of videos, but that's me done. It's looking at embedding that as part of your practice constantly, like you would do with
absolutely,
any drills. You wouldn't go in and think, oh, I'm struggling with long putting today at snooker, and then practice a couple of long shots and then just leave it and expect to turn up at your next comp. You would continue to practice that and to monitor that, and it's very much the same with everything else. Your diet, the hydration aspect, looking at your mindset, looking at what elements of your game are working or not working. And if you do that, you constantly know where you're at.
yeah,
And
100%.
the really mad thing that I've continued to find baffling is that you're probably still in a minority within Q Sports as a whole that applies that broader spectrum of sort of sports performance, of looking at self development, of looking at exercise, of looking at nutrition, of looking at hydration, because for a lot of other people, they don't even think about that.
No, it's mad.
I reckon a lot of snooker players, if the venues didn't provide water, would probably turn without a drink. They wouldn't,
It's
they
mad.
wouldn't think about it. They would just think, "What am I going to do here? Like, where's my Diet
Yeah,
Coke on?" And they would just
yeah,
they wouldn't know what to do. It's just like they drink that because it's there and it's
yeah.
easy for them. But like, I honestly don't think they would know what to do if it was removed. It would be a
I,
good experiment, I think, for a couple of events to see what players would turn up with.
It's mad. I mean, look at Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's
yeah,
at the top of. He's been at the top of the game for so long. He runs. He eats healthily. He keeps himself fit. He works on his mind. That's if he didn't do those things, he wouldn't be at the top of his game through just
No.
the talent he's got on the snooker table. But because he does the hydration and his diet and his mindset, that's why he's been at the top of the game for so long.
Absolutely,
exactly.
it's. I've always said that it's no secret he is where he is. People, make it out as if it's some sort of miracle that he's still playing at the age he is, but it's not, because he's actually doing a lot of things that a lot of other pros who are younger than him aren't doing with regards to fitness. And he said himself, about the psychology and the mental aspect. He was doing that back in sort of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
And he said people thought he was crazy then. Like he was
yeah,
ahead of the game, and by seeing somebody, a psychologist or whatever, people were like, "Oh, he's crazy." He needs this help. But in actual fact, that was the start of a trend of now when people actually look and thinking, "Well, might be something to this."
yeah,
So yeah, it's never a secret, is it? I mean, it's that age-old saying of success leaves clues.
yeah,
If you want to be successful at anything, you look at who's the top and what are they doing differently to what I am.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
it's too easy to brush off and go, it's natural talent. Well, it isn't. You look at Messi and Ronaldo in football, that they've kept themselves fit, they've led a healthy lifestyle, they've protected their bodies. That's different from any talent, and the talent that they do have, they've worked on it and they've nurtured it. Like you look at Ronaldo as a prime example. Ronaldo is, I think, young kids now have never seen him in 2007, 2008 when he was doing the step overs and he was running the length of pitch and beating people and doing all these things. He's had to change his game over the years to what he is now,
yeah,
and gradually seeing, and that's something he's had to work on, and not think, well, I'm going to continue to play this way. He's had to look and think, my body actually can't do that anymore. So how do I become more of a striker? How do I play with me back to goal? How do I, now I can't run as much and as quickly, how do I use that to my advantage?
yeah,
And it's that
yeah,
constant development of not just saying, oh well, my legs are gone a bit now, I'll just scrap this.
yeah.
And that, it's every top athlete has done that over their career. And the clues are there, but what
but
sets them
no piece
apart is that
paid attention.
mindset to do it,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's really it is it's right. Like Messi and Ronaldo, Max Verstappen, his dad. Uh, Rory McIlroy, Ronnie O'Sullivan, so many, there's so many common traits, and Mr. King in our last podcast spoke about the same thing. He grew up with Ronnie in the same club, and Ronnie do 10 times more practice than anybody else. Like, no wonder he is where he is now, right? Max Verstappen in a recent interview talked about doing exactly that. Like, like when they're, at a practice day and it's cold and it's wet and they're covered with ice. It's so cold. That his competitors are were inside the clubhouse. Huddled around a heater. He was still going round and round and round and round learning because his dad wouldn't let him in. It's just like, no, just got to get it done. You got to crash some more, fail some more, and this is how we're going to get in. And, Ronaldo's doing exactly the same. Everybody's there for training in the morning, everybody's off at lunchtime, they're off on the golf course. He's still employing other staff to come in the afternoon to train them. The clues are there, and I think this is what's. And obviously, that's more the world I'm used to, because, I've spent most of my my sports career working in other sports outside Q sports, and as I still do. And it's like, bringing these processes into Q sports, it's just going to be such a profound advantage, and obviously given the results we're having week in, week out, with players that are on this, it's not exactly any, huge surprise on that. But what I see a lot of, and it's weird, like we do updates on the hub, and I've just finished recording 1/2 hour ago. It's like, sorry, just before this started, but it's what I see a lot of is that I did a whole 20-minute video this afternoon on players with great intentions, and it's not. I'm not slagging people off. I'm not. This isn't me kind of being wholly critical. It's just something I see a lot of. There's a lot of words and not action. The players. I don't think I could go to an ultimate pool event, say, or IPA or any leading pool or snooker event. English amateur snooker, whatever. And walk into any talk to any player at that level, and you meet them, and they'll kind of recognise me and say, "Oh," or they might be on the hub, and I'll spend a bit of time with them and discuss about, like, so what do you want at the game? Like, what is it you're after? And they'll tell me, and it's like, right, great, and even if it's a small goal, like I spoke to a 60-year-old man, he's just a club level player, he wants to make 50 for the first time. I'm like, great, but do the things that allow that to happen, and there's so many elite players that are not doing all the things it takes to make it happen. They'll say they'll do everything it takes, but at the end of the day, they're not. And it's not through incompetence. It's not like any kind of malice or anything that they're sabotaging themselves. It's just this lack of discipline to understand that your results will be a mirror image of what you put in. Period. And there's absolutely no getting around that. And I think, in terms of players being all in, like Ronnie or Messi or anybody else, I find it very hard to see anybody possibly judge, Ronnie and his pomp, putting in that kind of level. It's and that means there's such an opportunity. That's what makes a special pool, I think, it's so exciting, because it's like any player applying themselves in that way. And really, I'm giving away kind of like the blueprint for what we're doing with Mary and Emma, in terms of Ellis and Sheppy, trying to dominate the game. But I tell you, like, people watching this, you're going to have to step it up, because these players are coming. And it's like you're not going to see it which way in and when.
Well, that's the funny thing, isn't it? That's the funny thing. It's a good point you've just said there, because like with the blueprint, and we would give everybody all the answers. We would sit and have a call with them, give them access to the hub, give them every answer, tell them what to do, how to do it. There's not going to be a large percentage of them who's actually going to go and do it, is it?
No, sadly not.
That has to come from within, and I think you have to have that motivation, which is why I was curious with Mary about where that sort of came from when she was younger, sort of that drive and that discipline and that mindset to actually analyze and look at things, because I think that's really important.
Because you didn't learn it from us, Mary. You was there already.
Yeah, I am very much. I am very driven. I remember when I did a course for accountancy, because when I was younger, I was in snooker halls. I wasn't at school, and I had a year, and I was up 5 a.m. studying till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I didn't just want to pass. I wanted to understand it, and I worked so hard with it, and I got a distinction, and that was just purely because I put in the hard work. It takes hard work, and if you want it, and you want it bad enough, if you put in that work, you will get results.
Yeah. Like that washing machine's putting in hard work just now. It is on it. Absolutely, it's not stopping for a second.
It needs a bit WD-40, I think.
Come again.
It's absolutely relentlessly on it. But no seriousness. I mean, you know, you're absolutely right. It's like, you know, that was in you, and you know, like, you know, we're obviously, you know, very similar in that. You know, I was the same in my sporting career. You know, and you know, and I was just relentlessly driven. You know, up at 5 every morning to train because fitness was a huge thing, and you know, and applying myself in ways that, you know, others, you know, just wouldn't even imagine doing. You know, and it's funny, like, you know, old you know, drivers that I used to compete with, you know, when they catch up on Facebook and they see what I'm doing now, they're like, how did you get to this? Like, how has this happened? You know, and it's like, well, let's catch up on a call, and we start chatting, and they're just like, you know, like, I've been fighting with this guy for titles year in, year out, and he was just like head in his hands, just blown away by, hang on, you were doing all this 30 years ago? Yeah, yeah. I had no idea. I'm like, no, that was the idea. Yeah, I didn't want you to have any idea that I was doing this stuff, you know, and I wasn't nailing everything because I ate atrociously, and I was not great at hydration, but there was kind of just a lack of knowledge. If I knew about it, if I'd put a little bit more effort in and went about that stuff a bit more, I would have had another gain, you know. But I was really nailing mindset and stuff because I was studying that stuff just like Mary is, you know, throughout her career. No wonder you've been such an amazing success with that. You know, it speaks volumes. Somebody who's been out of the game for so long can pick up a cue stick again and go off and run in, and then you get to like number 6 in the world in very short order. I mean, it's just like remarkable. But it's how you apply yourself. It's not just a, you know, I don't believe in talent, but a skill set. You know, it's not. It's beyond that. It's about your application.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's giving you kind of like so much success, and that's why, you know, like myself and James find your working with you, it's so incredibly exciting because we don't need to think about, like, you know, I'm like driving my car and I'm like, oh, Mary's doing today. Like, I didn't need to think about it. It's like, Mary on it today. No, she is relentlessly on it today.
Like you messaged me the other morning. It was like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm studying pool, watching Tom Cousins, taking screenshots of shots. Right, I'll practice that later. I'm like, what are you doing up this early?
Yeah, I can see you were up, you know, and it's just absolutely brilliant. And you mentioned it, and again, it's quite telling. Again, I don't want to name names, I don't want to embarrass people, but especially like our active players, hopefully they'll listen to this and they're going to think to themselves, God, yeah, maybe he's nailing it. I need to step up, you know. But it's like, it's so telling to me. Like, you know, I've sent me some content, James, about a week ago. And it's like, and she messaged me back saying, love that video. Could do more of that. And by the way, I've almost finished that audiobook that you sent me, you know, and it's just getting stuff done. And, you know, with other players, I'm like, you know, it's like, you know, I sent you that content. It's like, you know, a few weeks back, how'd you get on with that? Oh, I haven't listened to that yet. There's everything you need to know right there, unfortunately. But as I say, like, once they get this, you know, we can't be there kind of like poking them every day, you know, because we can't be with players as much as we'd love to be, you know, every single day, you know. But obviously James is the same with the WST players he's working with as well, you know. He just has to hope that they're, you know, that they get stuff done, and, you know, and they're on it, you know. And then certainly Joe O'Connor looks like he's on it just now, my friend. He's doing well, isn't he?
Great player.
I predicted that a while ago, didn't I?
You did. You told me.
Might make a living out of this game yet, but
because you could see what he was doing.
But I feel like I was a broken record though, like saying to people over like the last year, really just saying like, yeah, he's on the verge of doing something, because you can just see like the work somebody's putting in, and then you're watching the games, and I was forever sort of texting them just saying like, just keep going, because when that defeat will come, and unlucky in certain games, because I watch the vast majority of his games, the ones that obviously there's odd ones I can't watch that aren't broadcast or whatever when he's abroad, but you can see that it's there, and you're just waiting just for that sort of one result or a couple of results just to really then just add that extra layer of confidence to what you're doing. And that's what happened just after Christmas. The Championship League Invitational, he went in there and he was just century after century, beating all of the top lads, making it to the group finals. And then I think when he got the Welsh, the Ali Carter game, Ali got a massive fluke and sort of the momentum changed because he looked on track to make the semis there. And then again, he could have let his head drop a little bit, but goes on the next event in China and gets the final.
Amazing.
So it's brilliant. And then everybody's sort of like looking, going, well, where's this come from? And I'm saying, no, that's been there for a long time. That's not something that's just this form has just come, or he's been playing like this for a while. People just haven't been watching him. He's not been on the main table. But this is no surprise to anybody who's been watching him play, because he's doing everything right. And he deserves, what it's done. I don't think it's finished. Obviously, the Worlds is coming up. He's got to go through qualifiers. But the way he's playing, he's going to be difficult to beat over first to 9 in the qualifiers. Yeah. Really, really difficult to beat. So hopefully he gets back to the Crucible again this year.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
It's exciting.
You're going to need to take me this time. Don't just send me pictures.
Definitely not. Spending enough time with you, I don't. You want to be going to the Crucible with you?
But it's so like, I kind of like, I think there's a point in the hub where I kind of like just further kind of refine things, and it's like, my opinion used to be, say 3-4 years ago, all that matters was getting better, period. Nothing else matters, right? And if you do that, obviously, results will follow, right? But you just focus on doing the right things to get better, as we're discussing here. But I've kind of like refined that further. I think I did a video on this in the hub. It's like really, really looking at it in greater detail. What matters the most is the process of getting better. That's everything. It's the beginning and the end of everything. And Federer and Nadal and Ronaldo and Ronnie and Max Verstappen and all these like legends of the sport, the process for improvement and getting better has been flawless and absolutely brilliant, because they're looking at every single area and it's like, what can be better? I need to be the fittest. I need to be best at hydration. I need to, have my own chef there all the time, and, on food intake, and practice needs to be much better than anybody else, etc., etc., etc. And it's like it's all these hundreds of little things done really well, but like when you apply yourself with that process and understand this is where the gains come. Hence why James has been doing with Joe. It's no shock at all for James, the results he's getting further down the road, and etc. Obviously when I went to Mary's club there, Spots and Stripes, it's finished. It's finished. It's finished. It's now. It's done.
Finally.
It's done. It's out of here. It's like, done my practice for today.
She needs to put on a spin now.
But it's like, it's, I don't know when it was at Sports and Stripes there, like, Ellis making the final was of absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Like of course, just like it wasn't for James. I mean, this isn't a shock. Like he's texting me throughout the day. That's me in the quarterfinals. Yeah, great. So let's get on the call, have a wee chat, and basically it's just further kind of refining food and water intake. Generally, for the most part, that's kind of like what we're doing. And then obviously I get up to the club. in Spots and Stripes, and I'm like, great, and I arrived about half an hour before the final because I was travelling that day. And it's me. If you need to do something to make that,
I need to turn that bloody thing off.
you do that. It's brilliant, amazing. It's happy now. It's like, come and turn me off.
That's the microwave now.
But yeah, no, and anyway, so I arrived there like half an hour before the final, and I'm going to embarrass you now, Mr. Ellis, because I know you'll be listening. It's like I said to me, okay, so we've got what we eating during the final. You got your snacks, your food intake during the match. Oh, no, I've not got anything left. God, right? Okay, I'm off. And I'm straight out to the corner shop, and I was there like throughout the next day as well, like going back and forth, because again, it's like having this discipline to get all this stuff done. Look at all the little details, and just get this stuff done. And I think it's like part of the reason players aren't doing this is because they get away with so much because of where the sport's at. And so, like, if you imagine if you're disciplined and professional and you apply yourself properly, like Mary does, what's going to happen at the back of that, And it's like, the results are going to follow. So it's like between, Craig Brown and Sheppy and Stephen Ellis and Emma and Mary and various other players are working, Sean McAllister, it's like, God, Simon Blackwell last weekend, it's just tremendously exciting. The results that are going to come, and we're just going to continue to get better and do things better. But it's not by accident, because it's the process of what they're doing. That's what they're focused on and kind of like nailing that. And Mary, as I say, like, it's like, it was really funny, James. We went for lunch, didn't it? And she's telling me all about herself. I'm like, I'm like listening, and I'm like, okay, so tell me about hydration stuff. So you tell me about that, right? And then, your food intake, right? Okay, you know that, yeah. And I'm like, we get to end of the main course, and I'm like, Mary, I don't know how I'm going to make you better. She's like, oh my God, I've got a job in my hands. Normally,
just wanted you to pay for our food. That's all.
Yeah.
You knew that before, so you can't do anything for me. You can pay for this.
Normally, I've broken my phone. I've taken so many notes, or I've went through 4 pens making notes and stuff we need to improve on. With players, but it's just fascinating. Right?
But you've already helped me massively with the hub.
Well, yeah, but it's just a bit. You just need a little bit more knowledge with the food and water intake and bit of practice and stuff, and being in the now, and you just go and apply it. But that's what's so great. It's like yeah, you can listen to a hub and that's great, but you need to apply it. You need to actually do it, right?
Yeah.
And you're just getting all that done. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well done for being you. I'm a massive fan.
Thank you, and thank you guys. Honestly, it's brilliant. There's nothing out there like this, and I just think any Q Sports player are mad if just jump on it. It's brilliant, and also it's not just as well for your Q Sport, but it's also off the table.
Yeah.
Like with self-development, if you work on yourself, it makes you happier off the table, and then it makes you happier on the table. It's everything. You can apply it, in life in general.
Exactly, and I think as I've said, like even the amateurs that call up and one-to-one, I would say predominantly most they're quite surprised at the end of the call. I'm like, okay, like, so did that go how you thought it went? We spent an hour and a half in the session. And they're like, no, not at all. But I feel amazing. And I feel like this is going to really help my game. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it wasn't what I thought.
Mm.
And it's because, like, I would say I probably spend more time with stuff off the table than on. and certainly, you know, like it's the same with content I listen to on YouTube. Most of the personal development stuff, you know, I listen to on a daily basis. Like I've been for 2 walks today already, listening to stuff, and it's much more about, you know, non-sport stuff, non-performance stuff. You know, because you have to get that right. You know, there's no good doing performance stuff. It's like we were discussing with the gambling thing that we did with Mark. It's like something James had kind of saw in players. It's like they're on the hub and they're working on themselves, which is great, but they've got this issue working in the background, so it's all for nothing, really. You know, wasn't it? That was good insight you had with that, dude.
Well, yeah, I think it's just what I said. I think you've got to constantly look at what's there. And it's what I said to you. We talk about, and it again, it's common sense that snooker pool is frustrating enough and mentally draining enough. Now, if you're going onto that table and trying to do well and succeed, but yet you've got problems at home, or you've got money worries, or you've got a problem with alcohol or gambling or drugs. I mean, before you can even contemplate looking at anything else, you have to be able to then tackle that problem. And yeah, I mean, you see it all the time in snooker halls, and I just thought, you know, that's for me, it's common sense, and the problem's very much deep rooted. And like Mark was saying the other day, he was starting gambling at a very young age, and that's part of a bigger societal problem. But we want to help players, and you know, it's no good us then telling those players to just go on the hub and spend £10 a month if they've got this big problem there, because that content's not going to help them. You know, they
Yeah,
need
they need
to
some
tackle that
separate.
first, and
Yeah,
then they'll have a clear mind. And it's the same with a lot of other things. If there's something that's constantly bothering you where you can't practice properly and everything else, then that needs to be addressed before you can really then do everything else properly. And once you do that and you become happier, then you're able to then translate that onto a table, and you practice better and you're happier and you're able to get over defeats better. And all of a sudden it's like, what have I done here? Just nothing on the table. It's just getting rid of that burden off the table, isn't it? And you see that all the time. You know, even in workplaces, like a lot of problems that happen within workplaces are because people have problems at home, marriage problems, money problems, whatever, and they take that into the workplace
yeah,
because that's where
yeah.
they spend the time. And
Exactly. Why would
and a,
sport
and
be
a
any
good boss will look and think and ask, is everything all right? And can they do something? Because how are they going to make X amount of sales working for this business if they head somewhere else because they're not happy at home? And you have to look at that. And yeah, I mean, it's the obviously we've got quite a bit of stick off the back of it because of certain things, but I don't regret it. We've already helped people who've got gambling
Mm,
problems in the last 48 hours. We've had 8 people reach out to Mark, and you know, if we can help one of them become clean, and you know, it's
brilliant.
unbelievable. And they might even be a snooker player. I don't particularly care. It's helping people, isn't it? And I think if
Mm,
and that also makes me feel good, and then it also makes me want to put more time into Q Sports Hub to help other players. So it's all a knock-on effect of being able to make yourself feel better, which is something I've neglected over years. And now it's like, what makes me happy, and what's bothering me, and how can I be happy, James? Because if I am, then I'm effective, and otherwise, the content that goes on the hub or anything that I do is just otherwise a waste of time.
Totally, and it's like, you know, it doesn't have to be like somebody's got a gambling issue. It's just kind of like as humans, probably our biggest thing holding any of us back is, I would say, is probably self-esteem. You know, and ego and the issues with that. You know, taking offence and you know, arguments with other people and faults with other people. Most of that stemmed from, you know, if you're at your best. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. I think if you're at your best, then you're very unlikely to take umbrage at what people are doing around you at work or at home or anything else. So, and then obviously, you start working on your self-esteem, be it through exercise, weight loss, advancing more in your game, spending more quality time with your family, etc., etc., etc. You do all these things, and your level comes up, and everything around you gets better. Your performance on and off the table, your family life, work life, and everything just gets better and better and better by working on yourself on a daily basis. And this is why, as we go through, so much, it's just really so much about life skills. I mean, I tell a story in the hub about when I worked with my first mentor, the golf pro that I learned the performance stuff of. He told me kind of very early on, at some point you're going to get what this is all about. And I thought that was quite a kind of random thing to say. And I kept kind of coming up because my ego wanted me to come up with the answer, be smart, clever. It's like, right, it's about this, do this. No. And all that first day when he said that, it riled me up a bit because I was like, God, I need to know that answer. And he's keeping it from me. And I'm like, spit this, and then the next week when I saw him, it's again like I'm just firing answers at him because my process was so flawed because I was coming from a space of almost being offended that he knew this answer and I didn't, and it made me feel foolish. And then it took me about a year of working myself further down the line, and I stopped putting energy into it. And then suddenly one day, driving the car up to see him, it's like just it dropped in. It's like, remember that thing he said to me a year ago? He says, "Oh yeah," he says, "I know what it is now." He says, "Do you now?" And I says, "Well, maybe, I think so." And again, like, see, totally different energy. There it's like I'm not coming from ego and stuff, and I'm like, it's not about the golf, it's about life. And he's like, right, well done, that's it. Yeah. I'm like, good. And he's like, because you weren't ready you hadn't learned enough to, you weren't too soon in your journey to understand that really, yes, we're doing performance stuff, and yes, we're teaching people to be in the now better, past, present, future, etc., and all the good yummy stuff that we do and how you feel and stuff. But really, it's the same in life. It's all about life skills. Or I'd early on I can remember texting them and saying, "Give me a job to do today. Give me." I was kind of like Mary's great at, give me some content, give me something to work on. And he's like, he texts me back. He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you something to work on. Have a really good day. Love your day." And I'm like, "Cool, okay, I'll go and do that." And I did it, and I was bouncing, and I got better today, just because I was on it. So it's like, as I say, this is why say it's as much about life skills as it is. Well, it's as much about being off the table as it is on, but the reality is actually 90% is off. Really, that's the reality of it. And I'm forever, working on myself, and then Aidan James as well. As he gets bent out of shape and pear-shaped about things, and I'm like, well, stop, wait, take a minute. What's really going on there? As the coaches that I employ do the same to me, and sometimes James does to me too. It's like, look at what's really going on there. It's like, you're taking offence, but really that situation's helping us. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And it's helping us kind of further down the line, as with all failure is. But yeah, it's just an endless kind of journey. But maybe I can't thank you enough. It's been you're an absolute wonder, and massive fan, total one off. Like in all the years I've been doing this, and all the players I've taught, it's never been like this, like ever, where I'm scratching around, and I'm like, and partly I suppose my ego's at it, and it's like, God, I'm into my main course. I'm like, God, how am I going to help her? She's amazing. You know?
No, you are. You're helping me. Even like stuff you're sending me and what you're saying, and and I'm still listening to videos. I mean, I haven't got the yips, but I'm gonna listen. I've listened to them. I've still got one more to listen to.
How are you getting on with The Alchemist?
Yeah, loving it. I'm on part two. Towards the end of part
good.
2. Brilliant. So good.
So good.
So good.
Love that. If anybody's, James will
Really
put a
good.
link up for it.
We need to add that on. Actually, I think we've mentioned about 10 times and never done it, but I think putting on like a reading list as well.
Yes,
Definitely.
that's good. Yeah,
it's really good.
I think that would be really good.
We'll make sure we put the right one up, but it's in Audible, and say like it's like I think it's in the top 10 selling books all the time. So
yeah, The Alchemist is hard to find.
But if you're a reader, brilliant. Me and I am not, because my dyslexia and stuff. I just didn't learn that way. But it's like, as I say, like if you're going on a Audible with The Alchemist, make sure you get the Jeremy Irons one. The actor Jeremy Irons does the voiceover, and it's just brilliant. Absolutely, just awesome.
And that other one, Johnny Wilkinson. I mean, I love him. The way he thinks, and he's got, it's fantastic. Honestly, and anybody just listen to him as well. It's brilliant. So good.
The two Johnny Wilkinson ones, they're on the private page for those that are on the Facebook private page for the members, as you are, as we all are. But yeah, it's on there. And yeah, like it's just fascinating how he talks about, like how he viewed himself back then as a world-class sportsman, and how he views himself now, and how he saw himself as being so flawed in his process, and how he did things, because it was all about outcome. And it was great. It was a great find when I found that, because it was like, thank God there's somebody backing up, what we do, because we talk about letting go outcome all the time, but it's exactly the same, thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and this is what, he coaches now, and he coaches exactly the same content as we are. It's just the same, just about, being in the moment, being free outcome, and going from there. But yeah, it's a cracking video, isn't it? Really good.
Really good.
So no, it's been a pleasure as ever.
Thank you. No, I guess I better hang this washing out.
It'll not dry now.
Right, see you in a bit. Take care.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.